Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're breaking down the main card for UFC Fight Night Shanghai, which takes place on Saturday, August 23rd at 6:30 in the morning Eastern time for the main card, and I believe the prelims kick off somewhere around 4 in the morning. Hopefully you're waking up and tuning in for that fight. Before we get started today, I'd like to ask you guys to like and subscribe to the channel. It helps the channel grow. It makes sure we reach the right audience, and it also ensures that you don't miss out on any of our fabulous picks. And with that, we like to kick off by first patting myself on the back for the amazing job that I did for our inaugural video, where we went perfect 5 for 5 on Dana White Contender Series. You see the ticket on the screen there as it won. It is every single pick from the video. There's nothing new there. There's nothing out of the back pocket. Every single pick for every single fight on Dana White Contender Series that we came up in that video it was on that ticket, parlayed, and it paid 21-1, and it cashed. And after it cashed, I was excited to actually see comments on our very first video of people who also cashed tickets because they tailed those picks. So really happy. I think it's a great sign that we kicked off our very first video on the channel by going perfect 5 for 5 and cashing 21-1 on the parlay. I also hit a very large single on Cam Rouston. If you guys watched the video, I was so confident that he was going to win, and he was an underdog. I dropped a pretty big bet single on that, and it paid, and he cashed right away, finishing the fight in the first round. I got him at plus 220 to finish the fight. So, 230, yeah, right there to finish the fight. Got as a single as well. So yeah, hopefully you guys tailed. Hopefully you made some money as well. If you didn't, this is your chance to correct that mistake. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you follow along our picks, and make sure you drop the bets where you think the right angles are. And with that, let's get into the start breaking down this card. All right. Oh, looks like my head's in the way a little too big there. And look, guys, I call these the fighter flashcards. Brand new graphics for you guys, right? We made our very first video, went 5 and 5. And what do I bring for you on the second day? Look at these fighter graphics. Got the best graphics in the game right now. All right? Nobody's got graphics like these. Nobody. Anyways, starting off with we open up the main card at welterweight. It is Neuraji Taiyliake versus Kiefer Crosbie. Taiyliake is a younger, bigger, well-rounded southpaw, and clearly the prospect the UFC wants to build in this fight. He throws high volume with accuracy and has the tools to overwhelm his opponents, even though his striking defense is shaky. Crosbie simply hasn't looked UFC caliber. He's older, slower, on a 2-fight skid, and hasn't shown signs of improving this late in his career. This looks like a showcase fight for Taiyliake, so the UFC can show him off in Asia right now, build his fan base, and then eventually bring him over with that fan following to the US, and hopefully he can make some sparks fly. There's this fight card's happening on the tail end of UFC, the Road to UFC promotion. That takes place Friday at 6 a.m. There's some fights that are taking place then, and then there's a finale that leads up to this UFC fight card. So this fight card's related and built up on part of a larger marketing promotion by the UFC that takes place in Asia is what I'm trying to get at. So it's intended to actually build up Neuraji here, and I think that's what they're going to get because they're pulling out a fighter who's 11 years older than Kiefer Crosbie. He's slower. He is shorter. There's not really a path to victory here. I would say that maybe he could possibly grapple, but Neuraji Taiyliake has great takedown defense. He also knows how to grapple himself, and Kiefer Crosbie has been submitted 3 times. He's been submitted 3 times in his career already. There's no path for success for Kiefer Crosbie here. Even at minus 460, it just seems worth it to just drop on Neuraji Taiyliake as a parlay piece. But he is hittable, and Kiefer Crosbie does throw bombs, so that is something to keep in mind. I think the best bet is fight to inside the distance, because I think Neuraji either finishes Kiefer Crosbie, knocks him out, or he just outworks him and outpaces him, eventually breaks him down, or Kiefer Crosbie lands a lucky punch and beats the kid and ruins the hype train. I think it's more likely that Neuraji actually does finish Kiefer Crosbie, most likely in the first round. Another good angle here is actually first round finish, any side if you want to kind of hedge against the Kiefer Crosbie upset. But my lean is going to be Neuraji Taiyliake as a side, and as the pick, I'm going to say Neuraji Taiyliake to get the finish. I think possibly in the first round as well. With that, moving on to the next fight. The next fight, we have Sumudaerji against Kevin Borjas at the flyweight division. Sumudaerji, sorry about that, is a sharp, fast, and is accurate with the striking, but his grappling defense is a clear weakness. Borjas, on the other hand, is durable, throws in high volume, and has a solid chin. He also lands the bigger, more powerful combinations. The matchup should stay on the feet, as none of these gentlemen like to get the grappling involved. Pressure and toughness give Borjas the winning edge, in my opinion. I love watching Borjas fight because he just strikes, and even when he's getting taken down, he'll just work his way right back up to against the fence. He'll always keep working. He'll take nasty shots and just keep coming forward. It doesn't seem like you can knock this guy out. But he is very hittable. He does absorb a significant amount of strikes. As you see there, he absorbs 6 strikes per minute. He gets into these wars, these firefights. He will eat one to give one. Sumudaerji, on the other hand, a lot more cleaner, a lot more technical, is a longer fighter. He's going to try to keep this fight on the outside long. But we've seen this kind of fight before, and Kevin Borjas does well in these kind of fights because he just pressures these longer, more technical fighters and makes them work for it. And unless you're hitting with these big shots and working that body, which I don't know if Sumudaerji will be able to do and work Kevin Borjas' body because that's how you'll slow him down, I think Kevin Borjas will be able to put pressure on Sumudaerji, and I think he'll be able to keep him backed up. I don't think Sumudaerji will be able to actually find his range here, and I think Kevin Borjas will be able to eke out a decision or a split decision against Sumudaerji. There's always a chance that Kevin Borjas also gets the knockout, especially later on as the fight drags out and Sumudaerji finds himself down on the scorecards. There's a chance if he finds himself ever down 2-0, which I'll say is a bit unlikely because Kevin Borjas has a tendency to kind of always give up around because he gets a little too active. He has to chase one. He'll get hit a few times. So all of Kevin Borjas' rounds look pretty close, especially when he's facing high volume or power strikers, which usually is the matchups that he's getting. And he's getting another striker here, but this is more of a technical time striker in Sumudaerji. Sumudaerji, past success for him is literally just stay on the outside, hit the 1-2s, hit the low kicks, and just back out. Make sure he doesn't get backed up to the fence. Kevin Borjas, put the pressure on him, back Sumudaerji up against the fence. Go body, head, body, making sure you keep mixing up the way that he does. I don't think either guy gets the finish here because both these guys are so durable. Nobody really has a big finishing punch. They have combinations and they beat you by overwhelming you. I think this fight goes a distance. And I think Kevin Borjas ekes it out by simply putting out more volume than Sumudaerji. Now, if Sumudaerji comes in here with a game plan to actually wrestle Kevin Borjas, take him down, and kind of just hold him there for a bit, and then also get a few, and then mix in the striking as well, that's a path to success. But it's an even fight. I say it's a coin flip 50-50. Because of that, I want to take the underdog here at plus 135 in Kevin Borjas. I do understand he's a relatively popular underdog as well this week. There's a lot of people who are going to be taking Kevin Borjas. I don't really like riding with the public when they're riding with dogs, but I don't see too much hype just yet. It's still relatively early in the week, and this isn't a very popular fight. Kevin Borjas isn't a very popular fighter. He's usually fighting on the prelims. This is maybe his 4th fight in the UFC, I believe, if I'm correct. So, take it with a grain of salt. But the lean here is going to be Kevin Borjas by decision in this fight. Next fight, we have Sergei Pavlovich versus Waldo Cortes Acosta. Now, this is the point in time I actually expect to wake up for this card. This should be around 7:30 in the morning, and this makes it worth waking up for it because I've always been a fan of Waldo Cortes Acosta, and he's made me money in the past. So I want to make sure I wake up and root for my boy. And I'm going to be rooting for him again here because, Sergei Pavlovich is a very good fighter. He's the best competition that Waldo Cortes Acosta is going to face up until this point in his career. But he did look really good against Sergei Spivak. I did pick him against Sergei Spivak as well, even though a lot of the public and everybody else had Sergei in that fight. I just knew that Sergei, if he wasn't successful taking Waldo Cortes Acosta down, he wouldn't have much success on the feet, and he does tend to fade. In this fight, it's not necessarily the case because Sergei Pavlovich has a nasty power. He has a long reach. Grappling, he doesn't mix in too often. I don't think he'll be able to get Waldo Cortes Acosta down, but I think he'll be able to land a few shots. The problem is the power and the cardio, because I know Waldo Cortes Acosta will be able to keep poking and prodding his way, dancing around. You know, his name is Salsa Boy. He'll be dancing around the edge of that cage. I don't think Sergei Pavlovich is going to be able to get him down. He might be able to hold him against the fence for a bit. I don't know what that really does, because we've seen Waldo Cortes Acosta had been able to work his way from those positions in the past, and nobody else has really been able to do anything in those positions, so I don't know why you would seek those. In my opinion, Sergei Pavlovich here should be looking to strike at range and try to land the bigger strike. The problem will be if Waldo Cortes Acosta, or WCA, I'm going to call him WCA now, starts striking early, but doesn't add volume or combo. He's just piecing the ones and twos. He's throwing the low kicks. He started adding low kicks into his game plan now. But if Sergei starts working the low kicks and get his jab and establishes his jab first, and Waldo Cortes Acosta starts getting him by some big strikes and doesn't really start getting to his second and third strike in the combo, he can have a hard time in this fight. But I've seen he has a nasty jab. He throws his cross like he throws a softball, because he used to be a baseball player before his antics got him kicked out, and then he became a fighter. But the way he throws that cross is he throws it like he's throwing a baseball, and it just comes out of, it's all the way back here, and then boom, it flies forward and covers a lot of range. And I think that's what Sergei Pavlovich will have issues with, and that's also the perfect counter for the type of offense that Sergei Pavlovich is going to be looking to put out there inside the octagon, where as he comes forward, he's looking to actually use his range, that difference in range here. Waldo Cortes will be able to get the lean, right, because he's a very tall guy. He leans back, and then boom, he pops back. He gets the jab, he gets you trying to get past that jab, and then as you lean, boom, he comes in with that backhand. And I think that's exactly what you can do to slow down Sergei here, especially with such a solid jab. And then Sergei will just never get his game plan going. And I think that's what actually happens here. I think Waldo Cortes Acosta wins this fight by decision. And there's another underdog here that I would like to take. And that's the pick. Before we get into the next fight in our co-main event, we'd just like to ask you guys, once again, if you didn't already, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about the picks. Let me know what you think about the graphics. I'm very proud of the graphics. I think we got the best graphics in the game. But please, engage. You know how the algorithm works. Help it out. Do a man a favor. Let's grow the channel. And with that, let's get to the next fight. We have the co-main event taking place at featherweight between Brian Ortega and Aljamain Sterling. This is a pretty good fight, too, and that's why I'm waking up for the fight right before this. Be pretty good heavyweight fight. Then we into this. This is a lot of high skill, a lot of talent. And then we cap it off. Yeah, I'll get to that a little bit later. But anyways, focusing on this fight right now. Brian Ortega. Ortega's dangerous with submissions. We all know that. T-City. Has insane toughness, but usually when we're talking about a fighter's toughness, it's because they're getting beat up a lot. And that's exactly what we've been seeing. If you watch any Brian Ortega fight over the last 3 years, it's just him getting beat up. Sometimes getting beat up for 15 minutes and then it goes to a scorecards, or somehow he's getting beat up and then boom, he pulls out a crazy submission and comes back like he did in the Yari Rodriguez fight, which was awesome. Really happy he got that win. Probably the last win he's going to get inside the octagon against ranked fighters in this weight class, because there's just been a severe diminishing of his skill. Actually, no, that's not fair to say. It's just Brian Ortega's an echo of what he used to be. A lot of personal stuff's been happening, a lot of injuries. Don't know if he has the best camps anymore. Don't know what's happening behind the scenes. Don't know what fight camps he's even affiliated with anymore. But I think he has his eyes on the horizon and what's happening for Brian T. City post his UFC fight career. I think that's where he's looking more now, and I think that makes sense. Because this is going to be a very tough fight. This is a safe fight for him because it's not very dangerous where he's going to get beat up a lot, bleeding like some of the other fights we've seen more recently. Because the way Aljamain Sterling fights is he's probably going to throw a 1-2. He doesn't throw a lot of high volume, but that's just to get inside, get to the wrestling, get you down, and control you. And I can see this fight, neither man has ever been submitted. Both men have amazing grappling. Zero professional losses by submission, so it's very difficult to submit these guys. What this fight's going to be is it's going to be a 15-minute fight. Of that 15 minutes, I feel Aljamain Sterling is going to spend about 10 minutes of it controlling Brian Ortega on the ground, where Brian Ortega is going to have a few good, sweeps. He's going to have a few rolls and escapes he's going to try early in the fight. Then as he fatigues and as Aljamain floats with him and as he does so well, he just sticks to you like glue. Brian Ortega will start to wear down, and then Aljamain Sterling will just establish those more dominant positions, land some pitter-patter, just work enough to be able to control and keep those positions so the ref doesn't advance him. And he'll win all 3 rounds, 30-27, pretty decisively with the wrestling, because on the feet, Brian Ortega doesn't offer anything in terms of a threat, whereas Aljamain Sterling doesn't put up a lot of volume. He has good technique. He's clean, just not a lot of volume, not amazing power, but he has power. It is there. He has speed as well. But his game is the grappling. Both these gentlemen like to engage in the grappling. The difference here is wrestling dictates where the fight takes place. Therefore, the wrestling advantage is with Aljamain Sterling. Aljamain Sterling will dictate where this fight takes place for all 15 minutes. Give me Aljamain Sterling. Give me Aljamain Sterling by decision. It's not a very sexy bet. I think it's minus 150 for him, minus 115 for him to win by decision. But I feel like it's the easiest thing, the easiest path to victory, the most likely outcome. It happens if these guys fight 10 times. Aljamain wins by decision 9 times out of 10 that he wins. He'll win by decision. And finally, let's move on to the last fight on the card. We have Johnny Walker against Mingyang Zhang. I love Johnny Walker as a human being, as an athlete. He's awesome. He's so entertaining. He's given us so much meme-worthy content. Johnny Walker, thank you. We love you. Unfortunately for him this week, I think he gets knocked out in China by Mingyang Zhang. Simply put, Johnny Walker, if he's very tall, he has amazing range. You would think he would stay outside, work his range, get good knockouts. Plus, he has great grappling, so he doesn't have to really worry about the threat of the takedowns. But Johnny Walker doesn't do that. He's extremely entertaining. He does unpredictable, crazy things. And then the lights go out because he'll walk into something. It'll be a power shot, or sometimes it's a jab that even puts him down. But that chin is almost gone. He's taken so much damage in his career at this point. You just can't trust him to see the scorecards at all, winning or not. And these days in his career, he's not winning much. Now, the upside and the potential is he is training a lot with his brother these days, Walter Walker, or they're spending a lot of time together. Walter Walker in the heavyweight division, really skilled in the jiu-jitsu and the grappling as well. He's already gotten 2 or 3 wins by heel hook in the UFC, and they were all consecutive as well. There's a chance he's trying to tell Johnny Walker, who also has a great grappling game, but we just haven't seen it in the UFC lately. He could be telling him, get your grappling engaged here, because your grappling could be a path to success here, especially if you initiate the wrestling, because Mingyang Zhang has proven relatively untested when someone brings the grappling to him. So if you initiate the grappling, one, you'll eliminate the threat of the KO that comes back from Mingyang Zhang because he's working to defend those takedowns. You're also the taller fighter. I think he should be able to get the takedown. If he does get the takedown, he has enough grappling competency that he should be able to work from those positions or hold him in those positions and just stay active enough to maintain and win the rounds that way. Problem is, you see on the screen there, I give the star rating, the stars for anyone who is new to this. Well, I guess everyone is because the first time we're seeing it, is on a 1 to 5 scale. So I've given Johnny Walker an arbitrary 2-star rating out of 5 for fight IQ. It's simply put because he can develop a game plan to fight opponents that lead to success. Those game plans can be tailored to his skill set. He does not do this. We've not seen him do this. We've not seen him execute game plans. Who knows if he does game plan at all. But we haven't seen him execute anything that even remotely resembles a game plan in the octagon. Therefore, I cannot trust him to do exactly as I had just laid out by mixing the grappling, pushing Mingyang Zhang against the fence, slowing him down, neutralizing the threat of the KOs, and winning the points through control. That would be his path to success. I really don't think he does it. Instead, I think they go out there, they get flashy. Mingyang Zhang, who's much more technical, methodical, powerful, fast, and light on his feet, will find Johnny Walker's chin that's always high up there in the air because he doesn't tuck it, he doesn't move his head, and Mingyang Zhang will be able to knock him out. Like, he's knocked out how many of his opponents already in his professional career? 13 wins by knockout of his 19 wins. And Johnny Walker has been knocked out already 6 times. I think 4 times out of his last 5 fights or something like that. So yeah, it looks like the writing's on the wall for Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker's career. He is very entertaining, though. I love Johnny Walker, but Mingyang Zhang probably gets the knockout here. I think he gets in round 1 because Johnny Walker usually just dances around and gets the tries to get the audience into the octagon there. He likes to get everyone excited, and then he gets knocked out. And everyone is excited, but not for the right reasons, from Johnny's perspective. So I think we're going to see a lot more of that because that's all we see. So I'm not going to practice and exercise insanity here and expect a different result. I think Johnny Walker is going to go in there, dance around, be exciting, and get knocked out. And it's going to be awesome because that's what we're going to see at 8:30 in the morning to kick off the day. And then our weekend starts. So appreciate that, Johnny. And yeah, with that pretty much wraps up our picks for today. Once again, would really appreciate you guys following the channel. Again, leave a comment. Hopefully you guys like the content. Hopefully you guys make some money this weekend. Hopefully you made money last weekend. And like, subscribe, share the video. Let us know what you think in the comments. And see you for Dana White Contender Series next week. Cheers.